Our speaker today is a pioneer in generative AI, renowned for developing AI tools that support millions of creators across the globe. As a professor, CEO, and global speaker, she brings a unique perspective on how AI can evaluate human potential. Please welcome to the stage, Maya Ackerman.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Are you ready for some big questions? We're going to zoom out a little bit and ask some really difficult big questions right now. So we all know that we're at a critical junction right now. The world is changing. How we make music is changing, how we make art, how we write, how we communicate with each other. And so there's a responsibility when there is such a critical moment in history, because we're not only impacting our own lives, we're creating the future for future generations. When generative AI starts out, whether it's in academia or in industry, anywhere, initially, we're all fascinated by what the machine can do by itself. What can the AI do without us? What can the AI do if we don't help it even a little bit because we don't want to cheat? That's what happened in academia when generative AI started for decades. And that's what we saw happening starting at the end of 2022 in industry. What can the machine do by itself, right? So I want to share a couple of stories with you from the olden days, the prehistory of generative AI, when we had a machine called Amy, Experiments in Musical Intelligence by David Cope. Amy made music in the style of Bach and Vivaldi and Chopin. And it was amazing because classical music experts could not tell apart original compositions from those made with Amy. Wow, what an amazing machine. Look what it can do by itself. We also had Harold Cohen, who made Aaron, an amazing painter that created art in Harold Cohen's style, abstract art that was displayed in galleries. Eventually, the system was taught to make images of people and to make its own composition and choose the colors by itself. And people would say, wow, this is demonstration that a computer can be creative by itself. And then things started leaving the towers of academia. And we had Deep Dream. Do you remember these hallucinatory images where dogs pop up everywhere? They kind of look like a human hallucination, right? So this was sort of in the early days, back when Google and Microsoft and IBM did these super cool projects around 2016, 2017, 2018. But before it was really mainstream, right? There was Google Magenta, and then we had IBM came up with Watson Chef, which was also really cool. Look at all the stuff that AI can do by itself. Now, when things started going mainstream, it started looking a little different. Microsoft made an amazing investment in OpenAI. And for a long time, OpenAI focused on creating the world's biggest machine brains, right? Large language models. The prototype for that, the ideas were developed in academia. But to do this at that scale makes a difference because the size of a brain actually does make a difference. And so, in some sense, humanity was focusing on building these machine brains that were bigger and bigger and bigger and more and more and more powerful. And still, nobody cared. Nobody cared. How is that possible? Right? We have these amazing systems like GPT-2. And the world was quiet. And then there was an amazing story with Stability AI raising $101 million at the end of 2022. And then ChatGPT came out. And everybody woke up. What was different with ChatGPT, and really what makes these systems successful, is when they focused on elevating human creativity. It is fun and exciting to have an amazingly brilliant AI brain. But when it comes to commercial success and when it comes to bringing value to humanity, it's all about elevating people, elevating our creativity, elevating our intelligence. And what I want to challenge you with today is how far we can take that. What does it mean for a machine to elevate humans? Okay, I'm going to show you how far this can go. All right, so one more point before that, AI can be both an economic mega success and benefit humanity. I'm tired of being told that caring about humanity is volunteer work and that nobody should care about it, because there is really no conflict between these two ideas. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, my son's name is Alex, so that's why the name Alex is here. Let's consider a person named Alex, okay? And let's say I tell you that Alex made me more creative. I'm picking creativity, but it can be intelligence, it can be anything. Alex made me more creative. What does that mean? Does it mean that Alex wrote a song for me? Is that what I mean if I say that Alex is more creative? Talk to me, people. No, right? It doesn't mean that. Does it mean that I gave Alex a prompt and he drew a picture for me? Probably not. That's probably not what I'm saying, right? Does it mean now that whenever I want to be creative, I need to go and find Alex? Probably not. I hope not. What it means is that I had some kind of interaction with Alex, maybe over several months. Maybe I worked with Alex. Maybe I learned from Alex. Somehow we interacted. And now I became a more creative person as a result of working with Alex, even if I never see Alex again. Okay? I became a more creative person from working with Alex, even if I never see Alex again. And that's the kind of bar that we need to hold for our machines. We have these amazing brains that are trained on more or less all of human data, or at least a whole, like such a massive percent of human data. These brains are brilliant. We need to stop downplaying their capabilities, but we need to apply those capabilities to elevate humans. And I know that AI can live up to this really, really high bar. So here is kind of a brief test. Is the AI making you more creative? Well, if it is, then your creative process is meaningfully improved, and that improvement is retained even if you never use the AI again. We need AI systems that make us better even if we stop using them. That's the kind of bar we need to aim for. All right, in 2020, I came up with a framework which I call humble creative machines. We all know really, really smart people. I mean, this is an amazing audience. We have a ton of very smart people here. But let's think of each one of you. I want you to think of an incredibly smart person that you worked with. Somebody who is just brilliant, right? That person might be the kind of person that really wants to be center stage. It's all about them. We've all met people like that, right? So those people don't make us better, right? They don't make us better. It's frustrating to work with them. But then there are brilliant people that you interact with them for 5 minutes, for 5 years, for 5 decades, and they keep making you better. Under many circumstances, they're willing to make you center stage. It could be a colleague, a boss, right? It could be a friend who is willing to apply their brilliance to make you better. And that's what we need from our machines. That's the kind of vision we need to be going towards. And those machines need to be flexible. If I'm a beginner, I need different kind of support than if I'm an expert. And this whole process needs to be really flexible. It needs to support beginners and intermediate and advanced people in very different ways. And the human needs to be in the driver's seat. That is absolutely critical. That's why ChatGPT is successful, because you're actually in the driver's seat. And that's why text-to-image models, which I think are still fabulous, I think it's the most unbelievable machine brain behind these systems, but that's why they're not quite as successful as they can be, because ultimately it doesn't exactly listen to you, okay? And it really, this example applies across the board. It needs to be all about elevating the human being and giving the human full control. So here is reinforcing the idea that the most successful products like ChatGPT are also the most interactive, deeply, profoundly interactive. In industry, if you look at things like Firefly by Adobe, industry is slowly moving in this direction. So moving away from the idea that it's all about let's glorify the AI and all the amazing stuff it can do, to how do we give the human as much power, control, learning, and creativity as possible through the AI. So things are moving in this direction, but there is no reason for us to move at such a slow pace. Okay, so commercial success and the good of humanity are aligned. So I'll leave you with one final thought, right? We don't have to be myopic. Let's create a world that we want to live in with the power of generative AI. I'm Maya Ackerman. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Maya. Any questions from the audience? Right up in the front. That makes it easy. There's a microphone in the box.
I have an interesting question. What if AI could actually inactivate all of the criminal elements and as well as stopping wars, interrupting communication of these things that are affecting our society in a very big way?
An easy question.
This is great. I mean, I love having a question that's the first time anybody asked me the question. I love it. I have so many different thoughts about this. So I focus specifically on generative AI. I think what your question really taps into most beautifully that I like to highlight is that AI is a sort of neutral force in some sense by itself. And I don't think it's going to solve all of our problems, but the way that we direct it, the way that we choose to yield this powerful mechanism, this magic, is something that depends on our values and our morals. And what you're bringing to light here is that humans, some of us, have really atrocious morals and values, right? And I really don't think that AI is going to fix this for us. But for those of us who do want to make a better world, it can be a really positive force for good.
Maya Ackerman, everyone. Thank you, Maya.